Testing.
Hello there, and welcome back to International Fathers. I'm your host and your creator, Nelson Moody Sr. As you know, each beginning of my talk show, I always like to ask that same question, which is a really important one to me. I want to know if you fathers out there had the chance to visit or call your children. If you didn't have any type of hesitation or either blockage or anybody hindering you from seeing your child or children, and you didn't, I need to know why, and I want to know why. Next thing up, my last show last week was a very emotional one for me. It was also one to where as though I got some calls after the show about how certain things affected me in my life. I was sharing with the audience last week about the emotional side of fathers when it comes to their children, because some people may not think that fathers can be emotional when it comes to their children, and we can. and it was a real nice conversation. Got a little bit emotional. I had one person that said that he kind of dropped a tear. I dropped a 2 or 3, but you didn't see him. But today I'm going to talk to you about another guest of mine. Originally, he's from the west side of Chicago, and I've had about maybe 4 or 5 people from Chicago already come on the show. So Chicago,
Nice.
y'all should be representing here. Originally from the west side of Chicago, Anthony Prodigino dropped out of college to pursue a career in music in Los Angeles, California. After a few months, Prada was hired to work with Warner Chappell writing music for the West Coast division, and it was not long before he was asked to help write a few track ideas for Chris Brown. The new album is called Fame. Prada was awarded 2 credits for his work on the Fame album. With the success of his first major project, he began to work on his solo projects. Prodigino released his debut album, Ego Trip, shortly after leaving Warner Chappell. He has been patiently planning the release of his next album, R.I.P., Rest in Prada. He also has been traveling around the country, gaining inspiration from all kinds of different sources. Prada plans to captivate fans with his new singles as he prepares to release his second album. While Prodigino brings a philosophical flow like an early Kanye, he also hits hard with deadly punchlines like Eminem. Unforgettable performer with the best in lyrical content, a breakthrough versatile hip-hop artist. Prodigino aims to be the face of the new generation of hip-hop. I'm going to introduce to some and present to others. This is Anthony Prodigino Green, rap artist.
What's
How
up?
you
What's
doing,
up?
sir?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on, sir.
Of course. I appreciate it.
Wow.
It's nice to hear someone else reading that bio.
Oh, yeah?
Sounds legit.
Good. Well, what I was doing earlier, because I like to do all my homework first so I can get as much about my guests as possible before they get on the show. I was writing something down on an index card. I said, you know what? Let me throw this away. Let me use this phone technology here, because I see people do it often. I see it on the TV talk shows. I've seen it people as they present stuff in graduations and stuff like that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to use the phone here. So that's what I did today, y'all. Again, we're here at Status Network. When you can call in, the call number is 470-251-4343. Status Network here in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, we're going to talk about fatherhood. You know, the thing that has been near and dear to me is a passion of mine. It's a compassion of mine. I know it's God's will for my life. I'm purposed, I believe, to bridge fathers and children based upon me not having my dad, as I talked to you earlier before the show began. And to me, besides a spouse and God, fatherhood is the best blessing that could ever be bestowed upon a man. You know, I haven't had people to disagree with that. Mom's always good. However, I've always said that when dads are in the lives of their children, and it's constantly, consistently, and it's positive, it makes a world of difference. You know, they may go here and there, but let's talk about you and your dad. And
Yeah, I mean, I think that they both serve a different purpose. When one is left to play both roles, I feel like it makes it really hard on, you know, them as a person too, because now they're having to assume the role of, you know, a man is always supposed to be known as like the dominant force. Right. A man is supposed to be strong. A man is not supposed to show weakness, and they consider, you know, a lot of times kindness a weakness, or showing love and compassion as like, oh, you're soft or whatever, you know. But, you know, I'd like to tip my hat off to, you know, my father and all the fathers are like that, you know, are there and, you know, have that ability to raise their children and, you know, show them the fruit of the loins, like show them like how, you know, they've been there, they understand. And as much as children like to think like, oh, you know, they're just talking and oh, they're just, you know, they're being annoying and but it's like they're the ones that have been there. You're going through these life experiences as a newbie.
Right.
And these are seasoned veterans. And it's always the same saying is always, relevant. It's, respect your elders, and you can learn from the past. And they can only pull from the past because they've been there and they know it. We can't pull from something we haven't experienced. So, I've been, lucky enough to grow up with 3 other siblings. I always never felt like I had a dull moment in my life. There was always some kind of crazy going on. And, my father's been there every step of the way. And, all throughout my life, he's been there to, when I've been knocked down to help me, to pick back up. And when times I've failed at things, someone to reassure me that, you're on the right path to success, and you're on the right path here, and you're doing the right things. And, I really feel like, without him, how different my life could be.
Interesting. How different your life would be without him. Now, I've said that too, probably a million times, that if my father was in my life, how my life would have been. Last week I had a cousin who actually, before I got home, she emailed me, another cousin of mine that saw my show on my father's side. And remember I told you a story about my dad. And she was telling me stuff about my father. Never knew we were born 5 days apart.
Wow.
February. His birthday February 9th, mine February the 14th. I never knew that until last week. The things that he did, he owned 3 garages, body and fender type stuff, painting, the whole 9 yards in Baltimore and in West Baltimore, around Mondawmin. For those people in Baltimore that know that what used to be Nutter Funeral Home, my father had all that property there. He was an entrepreneur. I didn't know these things about him. Now my siblings, they knew this. But when my cousin talked to me yesterday, we talked about like 3 times since last week, and she was just sharing all this information about what my dad did, what kind of person he was, and all this stuff like that. And through them, I'm going to get to know him. From Manning, South Carolina, which is a city about that big, they say.
Yeah.
Where everybody knows everybody. But getting to what I started off to say is that the million times I said to myself how my life would have been if he'd have been involved. Some say it could have been worse, some say it could have been better. But knowing that he was an entrepreneur, he had his own businesses, it didn't work for nobody, I'm going to take that as a positive way and just run with that. But it's people like you, whether you're a guy or a girl, who I used to not envy negatively, but envy because you guys had your dad in your life.
Well, that's interesting too, because a lot of times I'll meet people, and just from being mixed, my mom's Italian and my dad's African American, so a lot of times they would, after they ask, like, oh, you're mixed, are your parents still together? And that's like one of the first questions I would get a lot, and I just never understood that. Like, just because, they're different races and whatever, or they're mixed, that I guess a lot of situations happen where people I knew ended up with their parents split. And that always baffled me. Like, that would be your second question to me, is like, are they still together? Wow. It happens too many times in that instance for it not to be, a kind of a realization, a wake-up call for a lot of people, you know, to think like that shouldn't be the way people think.
No. Wow. So there was already an assumption that because your dad is African American, your mom was Italian, it was just split.
Yep. And then who's your favorite? I mean, I had a lot of friends that's the circumstance, and sometimes it's rewarding. Sometimes it's like I get gifts from one, I get gifts from the other, and they want to fight for my love, to have more of the love because they're not on good terms.
Gotcha.
And then there's the other side where you're torn away from one, and you're in courts and you're in fighting and custody and doing all this stuff, and you feel like your life is totally gone. And, other people start to know about it. Your friends start to know about it, and you just start to feel ashamed.
I was going to ask you that question. You just answered it. How long did you felt like that, or was that while going through that, did you feel any type of depression, wanting to be by yourself alone, or just wanting to just lash out at people?
Um, it's more of an educational thing for me. It's more like why.
Okay.
You know, why ask that? Why do you feel like that's the norm right now?
Okay.
And you know, I'm all about creating solutions. You know, you see a problem, the quickest way to you know, stop a problem from happening is trying to find a solution, not perpetuating the problem. And you know, I think a lot of people want to keep forcing the issue rather than figuring out a resolution. And I think that even in today's society and governmental and every type of business, it's the way it is.
Wow, outstanding. Now, Dad was a consistently dad from what we talked about earlier. And again, as I say, that those were the people who I just had a negative feeling for, because of probably I didn't know, I didn't understand it. But my thing was why I don't have my father in my life.
Right.
Why not my daddy come to me? Why did my father come to my school plays? Stuff like that. Again, our call number here is 470-251-4343. Waiting for your telephone call. Chicago, you in the house.
Stand up, seize
Yeah.
up.
So the positive sides of it, which is all positive, what were some of the attributes that attributed to from him to you that you might not have seen in some of your other male peers?
Love, understanding, respect. I think in the industry that I'm in, there's a lot of bird chest. And I mean that, you know, they want to stick their chest out and think that they're better, or it's got to be a competition. And, you know, he was the one person that I never had to compete with. You know, growing up, I would fight with my brother all the time. Our ideas and our rhetoric is way different, and the way we process things and the way we respond is completely opposites, and it would cause us to clash all the time. And you know, we'd get into fights all the time about everything, and even to this day, he still wants to fight to me, you know, with different decisions and things like in my career, and that he thinks I should do this way or that way, and it's like, you know, I kind of just lay it the way God wants it to be, and you know, I definitely take criticism, or I definitely take ideas on things I can do, and I'm totally open to them.
Okay.
But you know, I just think that having somebody there that you understand they love you, and you know, being able to relate it back, it's a comforting feeling that someone like that is in your corner. You know, as much as a hard ass, and as much of all the things that he may have done in his past that, you know, a lot of other people might look and be like, this is not a good guy. In the end, you know, for me, he was always that guy. He was always that good, you know, the good guy. He was always the one there for me, and always supported my career. And, you know, when I said to my parents, like, in 2 weeks, I'm leaving for California, there was nothing like, when, you know, there was no, we're going to stop you.
Okay.
We might be upset and sad that we're not going to be able to see you every day, but we're not going to stop you from doing what you want to do.
Got you. And that was total support.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in listening to the story, we talked earlier, it's 3 things that's running through my mind right now. Prince, the song When Doves Cry, and Purple Rain. You saw that movie. When I'm gonna go straight to the point, when Prince finally opened up the box that his father sent him, was all the cassette tapes of the music that he made. And I think at that time, Prince understood that without a doubt that he had his father's support and love. And as you talking, that's what I'm feeling. Yeah,
you know, for me, it's been there since day one. I mean, I've had, you know, different career paths. You know, at first it was gymnastics, and they're like, if you want to pursue this is what we want you to do. But then I was like, you know what? I went to college downtown Chicago, Columbia College. I studied musical theater. I minored in music theory. And, you know, they never stopped me there either. You know, they would come to my plays. I would perform at Second City. I would do sketch comedy shows, you know, pull from the audience, and we'll create a show out of nothing. You know, so I've always had that that idea, like I could always create something from nothing. And eventually it just became music, and it became another avenue to be political, to make people feel a certain type of way, and to give out your life experiences for others to learn. And from there, it just keeps branching, and I keep figuring out ways to like relate to everyday person and understanding struggles and being able to put it in a way that makes people feel good. A couple days ago was Michael Jackson's birthday, and I was listening to Sirius XM radio, and I had listened to all these people calling in about their experiences with Michael and how that music and just his music alone got them through so many traumatic times in their lives, and how important music is and how it affects each person so differently. Depending on the content of the music depends on the emotion you're going to evoke from people. And I think that in a time like this in the world, positivity is our best bet here. Yeah. And I think that branching into things that are positive, that make people feel good, is the avenue we should be moving, and not necessarily in the direction that things are moving right now. I just feel like we lose substance and content behind making money. And for me, that's never been my goal. My goal is not to be the richest. My goal is not necessarily to just, I won some awards, I made a bunch of money, blah blah blah. No, it's bigger than that. There's bigger goals. I have humanitarian aspirations, and I hope to be able to fulfill them one day.
You will.
And so this is my way of getting there.
Okay. Wow, now me not knowing that you listened to Michael Jackson that day in formulating all them comments bring me back to what I said earlier about Prince, that box, and When Doves Cry. Of how Prince himself was kind of like that too, and you can listen to his music as well and get something from it. Like I've always tell my children that every song in every movie has a meaning to it. And then I go back to songs. I say people write songs from their heart a lot. And when you go through things in life, you can play certain songs and they'll remind you negatively or positively impact you.
Yep.
I remember going through a time with my oldest son as far as the courts is concerned, the first two books that I told you about. Milton Brunson's song, no, not Milton Johnson. Man, I hope it don't mess up, but Trouble Don't Last Always. That's not Milton Brunson. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. My Mind's Made Up by Milton Brunson was a song that resonated after what I was going through. But Trouble Don't Last, John P. Key, that resonated for about 2 years in my life when I was going through a court situation. But I say that to say this, what I tell my children now, and the younger ones I told you about, that songs can help you out. And they have their way of just coming to you at the right time. You could be going through something, you could be winning something, you could be looking out for something, anything. And a song would just pop up, and you'd be like, oh, that's it. But one of my favorite songs that I would have loved to sing if I was a singer. Y'all know I can sing though. I ain't gonna do it right here because I don't, Eddie and Joe Levert, when they sing "Wing Beneath My Wings." When I first heard that song, it brought a waterfall of tears to my eyes because of the impeccable bond that him and his father had, and how it transcended from them to me wanting to sing a song like that to my father. And then years from the line, Luther Vandross come out with Dance with My Father. I had to cry, oh man. Whew. I am gonna let all that out, y'all. We gonna get back this way, but y'all know how I am about fathers. I'm passionate about fathers. I'm adamant about fathers. So just to be involved with their children throughout all circumstances, anything negative, be a part. Because I've always said that child may feed you, may to clothe you, bathe you, plan your nursing home, or your funeral. You know, that goes also same with just parents, period. You know, but like I said, my thing is the compassion that I have for fathers being there for their children. It makes a big difference. And International Fathers is something like I said, I started years ago. So I'm gonna ask me where did I get that from? Fathers is international, black, white, rich, poor, yellow, pink, educated, uneducated, entrepreneurs, no employee. Father is international, and that's where I got the title from. And as it was growing and people started looking at it, they go, okay, I can relate to that. Because we all had that same common thread, whether you're here in the United States, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in Greeceland, whether you're in Jamaica, whether you're over on the other side of Denmark, or on the moon, you know, we're all fathers.
Yeah.
But your dad was one of them fathers that I've yearned for. And I've always told people, even my children now know that, that void will be in my heart, just a little, because this is what I wanted in my life. But you guys have it, which making it a world of a difference. You guys could sit there, talk to me, say stuff, and we can connect. And I get my fulfillment from them.
Yeah, I think, you know, having someone like that that's supportive of what you do, you know, also makes it easier to lean on. And, you know, things weren't necessarily always easy either, you know. There was times where, you know, things had gotten difficult and, you know, he worked a lot.
Okay.
But he was always there. You know, we'd go to school, we'd come home, maybe a couple hours later he was home. He was always there for us at night. He was always there for dinner, you know, when we were there too.
Okay.
And as time went by, as we, you know, moved into adulthood and started doing our own thing and
Hold on
stuff
a
like
second.
that.
We got a caller. Hello, good afternoon, caller. Good evening.
Good afternoon, Mr. Moody. This is Big Mama Savage. How are ya?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing just good, just good. I miss hearing your voice. Well, you already know I had to tune in.
Uh-huh.
First and foremost, you always got my support, A1.
Thank you.
But I want to say this. You know I'm ripping for the Shy Baby.
She's from Chicago.
Chi-Town, yes.
Yeah, so before we get into the discussion about what I really initially called for, but anyway, are you from like K-Town, Austin area, or something like that? You know, because I'm from Chicago. I'm a little familiar, babe.
Yeah, I was born at Oak Park Hospital. I lived on Austin Avenue, my dad's father's house, so the dividing line of the west side of the city and Oak Park.
Okay. Okay, well, we're going to blame this one on God. It's that divinity thing. I knew it. I'm going to say this. I do, you know, I'm looking or whatever, and your appearance says that, you know what I mean, not only what you experienced with your own father rubbed off on you, and I don't know if you have children or not, but if you do, I'm quite sure they have a whole lot of fun with you, because you look like you're a fun father, if that makes sense. You know?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm not a father yet. But it is in the plans in the next couple years for sure. I'm hoping, you know, by 30, and I'm 28 now, so it's fastly approaching.
It's around the corner. It's around the corner. Here it comes now.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I just wanted to make sure, you know, my career was completely established before I brought some little ones in the world, and I can make sure I take care of them.
Amen to that. You know, which is one of the reasons why, you know, you have a lot of fathers, I guess you would say, absent from children's life because they don't have the means to, you know what I mean, to take care of a child or whatever. So they get fearful, they give up they throw up their hands and then they jet out. That's one of the reasons. But getting back to, like I was saying, what I was saying earlier, you know, I heard you mention that your mom is Italian, your dad is African American. I have a younger brother, similar, because my mom, of course, is African American, and then his father is Italian. So, you know that it's stigma that says that, okay, the black man is always ready to give up, he walk out or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so now it's put in reverse. And it's like if a man is a coward or a man doesn't want to be around, and Mr. Moody, I know how you feel about negativity, and this is not being negative against fathers. It's just speaking facts.
Okay.
It's just speaking facts.
You know
but
me.
you know what I mean? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, but now I'm just saying, and this is just individual, so it doesn't have anything to do with race, culture, age,
Right.
employment, or nothing. It's just that person individually. You know what I'm saying? But I was just gonna say, you know, my brother is of the same caliber. He's mixed with Italian and African American, and his father, he jetted, and you know what I'm saying, he doesn't really even contact with, stay in contact with us. We don't even know if he's still alive to this day. God bless his soul. But, you know, I mean, I just want to say, when men want to do those things, then that's what they are. So then it does leave more strain on the female parent or whatever. But either way, you got other fathers that are out there who make up for that, because we can look at individuals like you, Mr. Moody, you, Mr. Prada. We can look at people who does represent and set the tone to say, oh, fathers do exist, good fathers do exist, and they are involved in their kids' lives. And you even have those people who are actually active in the community to, you know what I mean, actually take on their role. So I just applaud you all. I commend you all for what you're doing. And I'm saying keep up the good work. And Mr. Prada, before you go, could you make sure that y'all drop some tags or something where I can, you know, link up with you, bro.
Oh, yeah, of course. Don't worry. At the end of the show, we'll make sure we do a little performance and stuff, and I'll make sure I tag my network.
All right, and I'm loving the red.
Thank you. Yeah, I just done myself, actually, so it turned out good. I've been getting a lot of compliments, so I appreciate it.
Right. Okay, well, I'm going to continue to tune in, keep watching. Well, Mr. Moody,
Yes, ma'am.
I'll talk to you later. God bless, and I'll see you soon.
So you're back in Atlanta now?
Oh, yeah, I'm still here. I just
You gone from Chicago for like,
Friday.
since like about 3 or 4 weeks.
We were making sure you were making it back. With all that crazy going on in the city, so.
All right, that's exactly what it was. For some reason, you get to Chicago and you sometimes don't want to leave. Only if you're in a good environment, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made it back and I'm here. And Mr. Moody, I know what else I wanted to say. You know, the book I was working on, I'm actually finishing it up, and I'm actually going to release that on my dad's birthday, which is 9/18, so within a couple of weeks from now. And, you know, like I was mentioning, you know, it is very important. I'm going to explain because I know you know already, but Mr. Prada, I didn't have the luxury of having my dad around. My dad passed away when I was 9 years old, and that broke me, you know, to the point to where I was mentally affected by it, you know, suffering from mental illnesses and everything. So that is one of, you know, what my book is about. Well, not just solely about that, but I do mention that, and that is a big part of it, you know, because I had the hole or whatever, because my father was gone or whatever. So I'm mentioning, you know, I got that in my book, and it's coming out on my dad's birthday. So we're going to celebrate my dad's birthday, the fatherhood, and I'm representing that way. So
Well, that's
just wanted to let you know.
Oh, I appreciate it, too. I want to check it out. That sounds great.
Alrighty. So I'm going to let y'all finish up y'all show. I'm not going to be, you know, I'm not going to hog for the line and let somebody else call and finish watching or whatever. But like I said, I love it, and you all keep doing what you're doing. And God bless y'all.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
too. All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Big Mama Savage. She was like, again, from Chicago. Her daughter flew in from Chicago to be on the show.
Oh, wow.
16 years old. Tell her
man.
story. Yeah.
That's amazing.
But you were saying before we got the call?
No, yeah, I was going to say, now kind of elaborate a little bit, you know, on it with like her experience. You know, my father and mother are now evangelists. So, you know, they have taken in other people who have not had fathers. Like my brother's best friend, and he was pretty much my best friend growing up as well. He didn't have his father around. His mom would take care of him and take care of 3 boys, you know, reckless as all get out. But, you know, after a while, you know, I left to go to college, and he was a year below me, and my parents took him in so he'd have a place, and they kind of always watched over him, and he always respected and treated them as father and mother figures. And and when they took him into the house and let him finish high school to get his diploma, so he can move to venture on to college and make that difference. So my parents are very, very much into accepting people and being able to change their past and try to give them back something. Like you were saying, there's always going to be that kind of emptiness, because it's still not really your father in a way, but someone's there to help, and someone's trying to change that mindset. Because at the same time, I felt like too, I had people around that did feel jealous that you do have both your parents around. Yeah. And and sometimes they'd lash out and not understand, and you don't understand why. I don't understand why, because I haven't been there to experience that myself. But I've had enough people around me to be able to see it and recognize it, and understand that I don't want to create or continue that trend, I guess I would say, because a lot of young men run and they think that that's their best option, instead of facing the things that they've set up the situation. It's as much as their fault as the woman's fault. If you're gonna have a child, you need to own up to it, and man up to it, and take care of it. Don't leave it abandoned, because you might leave this world first, but you don't know what you've done to them as far as how they're gonna react now in the world, and what they're gonna do, and what they're gonna set up. You just never know. So,
well, boys are angry, and I've seen that. Boys are angry, and girls may be more promiscuous or date older, or trying to find somebody or something to validate their love. Whereas a boy is just angry and go toe-to-toe with their dads when they're not there. Again, the call number is 470-251-4343. It's the S Network here in Atlanta. But for me, like what you just now said of how some may have been jealous, I don't think I was jealous. I think I just envied. You got your dad, and I don't have mine, and this and that. But I've grown accustomed to it. I've had some good men in my life, from older cousins to uncles, went into the military, then the drill sergeants and the sergeants there, and then even some men in the corporate world who showed me stuff. But prior to the corporate world, I looked at 13 men, and I grabbed something from each one of them men. And I've told my children, out of 13 men, y'all have everything in me. But what your parents are doing, I know that you look at that as a refuge for them, for the boys and girls.
Yeah, I mean, it's over the years, it's been both. It's been a whole bunch of different ones. From usually a lot of times they're family friends, or they're like my friend or my sister's friends or stuff like that, and they've had issues and other problems, and they need to escape a situation. And a lot of times it's more of like on an abuse side, where it's like alcoholism and other things like that cause them to despise maybe their parents. And it's a way there's this other person that comes and they're not like your father. You might not have thought that was possible. Like, this is somebody that cares. I'm not going to get hit and beat today, or things like that. So, it's rewarding in a way to see that they care that much to help others as well. So they can have a bright future and possibly get their education and get things that will help them stay out of the street.
Right.
And and it's only because they know it firsthand. Okay. I think if they weren't there and didn't experience it, they couldn't teach them not to do that.
I'm a firm believer in that. If you haven't been through it, you can't tell me nothing about it.
Right.
I'm sorry. Some people have debated on certain issues. They go, yes, no. One issue that I always get into years ago, haven't gotten to it recently, was you may have somebody that is assisting, helping, raising a niece or a nephew or a cousin. And the debate was, you're doing a good job with that, but it's a big difference if you were the parent.
Right.
Some used to be there. No, well, I read no. It's a big difference. Anybody debate me out there, 470-251-4343. Normally, at the end of my shows, y'all know what I do, but because of my guest today, I'm going to say what I have to say earlier now. I'm going to have him to talk more about him now on a professional level, and he's going to give us a treat. If you know a dad out there and you love to see him on International Fathers Talk Show, send me a 350-word essay along with his bio and a reason as to why he should be on my talk show. Send it to my email, nelsonmoodysr@gmail.com. That's NELSONLMOODYSR@gmail.com. Fathers, call those children. And children, call those fathers. Fathers, hug those children. Hug them. And children, I want you to hug those fathers. I got you a little gift here, sir. It's not a big gift, but it's a token of my appreciation as you being on my talk show here. I try to give my guests something special in addition to us talking about fatherhood. I try to give them something that they can relate to. You're an artist, I'm an artist. Go pack of ink pens. And this book will be for you to write your next song or songs in. It also has an anchor here. When I saw this anchor here, and I did my homework on my guests here, the phrase that I had for this right here is that I want you to soar high, sir. Soar high in your craft. And at the same time, the anchor will keep you humble. We're going to let Anthony take it away here for y'all.
Let's get it.
Gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. I'm gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. I'm gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. I'm gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. It's a new day, rep a new day. Pour some extra sugar in the Kool-Aid. Y'all know it's hot with them new J's. Gotta hit the block with that new fade. Rep the whole world, yeah, new stage. A new chapter, turn a new page. Moving on up on a new age. Gon' catch a vibe like you turn a new age. Gon' catch a vibe, don't it feel good? Gon' catch a vibe, roll the backwoods. Treat yourself this weekend, yeah, you know you should. Yeah, I knew you would. Ain't no stopping you. Summertime's hopping, it deserve to get it popping. Hit the store you shopping for that weekend, got you copping that new outfit. Catch a vibe, you the friends got pics. Hashtag my clique, yeah. Pull up to the spot, hop out of the ride. Make a few calls, get the party live. As soon as all my friends arrive, I'm gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. I know y'all feeling it. Hey, gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. I'm gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. I'm gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. I'm gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe, girl, get it right. Gon' catch a vibe, young, light, bright. Shake that, gonna tell them high night. Cause it really doesn't matter what they might like. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, that's a big mistake. Got you thinking about all the moves you gotta make. She got it all and them girls can't relate to that cake. Make a name for it, make a name for it. Ain't gon' catch a vibe, yeah, aim for it. Chillin' at the top, yeah, I came for it. Got you blowing up the spot, change the name for it. Pull up to the spot, hop out of the ride. Make a few calls, get the party live. As soon as all my friends arrive, what you gon' do? Gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. I'm gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. I'm gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. I'm gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. I'm gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. I'm gon' catch a vibe, gon' catch a vibe. If you listening, I want you to do this with me real quick. Ready? Hey. Hey. Put them up. Hey. Hey. Oh. Hey. Oh. Hey. Oh. Say it with me now. Gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe. I'm gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe. I'm gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe. I'm gon' catch a vibe. Gon' catch a vibe. Hey, if you want to find me, y'all, it's Prodigino. Don't act like you ain't know. Yo, www.prada-gino.com. Follow my movement. I have a lot of new things coming out. I have an EP coming out. Catch a Vibe will be on there. It's just a quick, simple dance song. Like, catch a vibe. Anybody can catch a vibe. Any part of the country you're in, you can catch a vibe. What's the dance in Texas? What's the new dance in Chicago? What's the new dance in New York? What's the new moves in Los Angeles? Like, catch a vibe and make it viral. Let's move something. Let's make a difference. Make something positive. Actions speak louder if everyone does them together. But words carry them actions. And I think that, if we all work together, we can make that difference. And it just takes for people to to catch a vibe, literally. And, it just goes from there. I want to be able to help create more things like that. So yeah, I have an EP that's dropping soon. I'm recently working with Ray J. I have a new track, hopefully that'll be dropping this week. And we'll start moving that. And I'll start touring around the country and start really just making that, that next move. And I really think you guys are gonna like what we have in store for you. So again, my website is www.prada-gino.com. You can follow me on all different social medias at Prada Gino. That extends to iHeartRadio, Pandora. I have my own station, Spotify, SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, Facebook, iTunes. Wherever you stream music, you can find Prada Gino.
Thank you, sir. And you also have something tomorrow?
Yes. So tomorrow, if you're in the Atlanta area, tomorrow I'll be at the Crown Bar and Grill. It's a Crown Sports Bar and Grill, excuse me, and it's spelled CROWNE as in Crown. If you go to my Instagram, I do have a post about it. It also has the address on there. So if you go to Prada_Gino, at Prada_Gino on Instagram, you will be able to see the flyer. And yeah, come be a part of it. If you're an artist, especially, there's a $250 cash prize for the artist. I'm gonna come on as a seasoned guest just to show how we can get the party started. And we'd like to see, more artists. I'm working on starting my own label. I already have, I'm already in talks and in motions of getting my LLC. So I'm gonna be on the lookout for people too. And this is a great time to work with me right now. And I think that we can build and grow together and start to make a difference. So if you have that positive energy and you have that kind of feel and you have something different to bring to the table as far as the rap game, come see us tomorrow.
He said it's a good time to give it from now. And as Will Smith once said, if you were absent in my struggles, don't expect to be present in my success. I say the same thing, brother. International Fathers.
Thank you, Nelson.
Until next time.